play this record as frequently as possible.
Gotta get right with it down. Once they run it, get a better. Everyone now is down. No second guessing, I gotta get ready.
What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Virgil here, and welcome back to another episode here on Dragon Ball Legends. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys all the best ways to save your Chrono Crystals, pretty much breaking down any and every method that there is to do so, to budget, what to spend on, what to invest in, sort of thing. So definitely a video, guys, you do not want to miss out. Before we jump in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, because I do upload here every single day with Legends content. Without further ado, I'm not going to waste any time. The first thing I will say about saving your crystals is that you cannot summon on every single banner. You definitely want to be saving for either your favorite units or a main team, a main sort of taggings, right? So you definitely don't want to summon on every single thing. That's like the number one rule of saving crystals, is you can't have every unit in the game, especially as a free-to-play player. What I would advise to do is either summon for units that you literally cannot miss because you favorite them to that extent where you need to have them for either collector's purpose or for a tag that you want to build. Take a quick look at my box here. You can see that I have about 98 to 99% of the entire game's unit roster. And this was not from saving or, budgeting my crystals. I did have to spend thousands to tens of thousands of dollars on this, which is not, I guess, the best investment for the majority of people. Obviously, you're better off being free to play in this game because it is very possible to do so, able to achieve high rankings, able to achieve a lot of maximum resources, and just a bunch of different efficiencies that don't require you to spend a dime on this game. And that's what we'll further continue to discuss here. It is definitely not mandatory to have everything, but as a content creator, as an enjoyer of this game, I do like to build and collect and invest in my favorite game. So that's just me. Jumping into one of the primary ways of saving your Chrono Crystals is by picking a tag or a team to focus and invest on. So if you're able to do this, you can only summon on said banners that would feature new units of your specific tag or team. So for instance, we got Sun Family here on the screen, which does happen to be one of the better banners that you're able to focus on just because of the amount of versatility, the amount of drops per year that a new Sun Family character does drop, whether it's a Super Saiyan, whether it's a Hybrid Saiyan, whether it's Goku, whether it's, etc., right? There's just so many in a constant release of this tag. It's probably one of the better teams to focus and invest your Chrono Crystals in. So this is definitely something you want to look into. Obviously, don't need to pick this tag. There's a variety of tags that are decent options, and there's some tags that you do want to avoid considering they don't normally get buffed. And obviously, you're going to pick a tag that you like anyway. So even if it is something unorthodox, unfortunately, the game does progress and constantly buff a certain type of taggings. Taggings include Sun Family, Saiyans. If we move into this next team here, Saiyans, they're constantly buffing Saiyans with either fusion units, Sun Family units, Vegeta Clan units. There's just a variety amount of Saiyan units, given they are the main characters of the show, the anime. And then you can also, kind of mix it up. Pick tags that you can main that have versatile taggings, right? So either Saiyans that have multiple tags like Sun Family, movies, future, or etc. like that, right? There's a lot of taggings or specific units that give you an amount of versatility, so you can main multiple teams if you do desire, right? So this Gohan Pan here, they not only have Sun Family as a tag, they have hybrids as a tag, and they have movies as a tag. Movies being one of the more buffed taggings in the entire game. There's just so many variety of movie characters, right? You can add Ultra Broly on this team for this very reason. Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist for this very reason. He's also a Sun Family unit. He's movies. And the list goes on. There's just so many different units that have a versatile type of tagging. Of course, you should probably pick one that you'll go full focus on. Another very good team that you can potentially focus on is Future. This team always gets buffed, right? This year, Future was a very predominant, powerful team. They had androids, they had Cell, they had this Super Saiyan Sword of Hope Trunks here. This was a very powerful team at a given time, and I think Future's always constantly getting buffed. You get VB, you get Zamasu, you get Goku Black, and just a bunch of different, options like this is a pretty good tag. But movies is just one of the top of the list. Is just constantly getting buffed with all these overpowered characters. You got Gogeta Blue, you got Broly, you got Janemba. There's just so many movies to choose from that they're going to keep advancing with the movies tag. And we could kind of get into tags that I would avoid, right? You know, GT did just get a massive buff, so it is a great team to actually have right now. I won't lie to you guys. This is a pretty powerful team. Super Saiyan 4s are not only GT, they do have the Saiyan and Sun family tag, including the Vegeta clan tag, which has not been very valuable. But this team right here, this main GT setup, say if you mained Sun family and you wanted to take a dip in GT, right? The only character you would really be missing or hurting for summon is this 17 right here. You could summon for the 4s just for this Sun family option. You could summon for this Goku for the Sun family option. Saiyan option, right? These versatile tags you should definitely could focus on, correct? GT has not gotten a buff in over a year and a half, so to focus on GT specifically might not be the best idea unless it's your favorite tag, and in that case, you know, feel free to not have buffs in over a year and a half, and you can have that year and a half to save. Other tags that don't commonly get buffed or just, you know, small, like DB Saga tag doesn't get buffed. Girls tag doesn't get buffed. Fusion Warriors is a very exclusive tag that only gets buffed periodically during every celebration. So it's a tag that becomes very powerful very quickly, but it doesn't last very long. Like at the very current moment, Fusions isn't like top tier or anything. It's a very good setup, but comparative to anything in the top of rankings, Fusions isn't runnable at the very moment like they were about a couple of months ago while the anniversary was going on. So Fusions is a good tag to invest in. However, you will only really be seeing a lot of playtime from this team during either the anniversary or Legends Festival, because they are the big money makers in the game and they want to release these big hype fusion units during celebration. So powerful opponent tag could be a decent one to invest in just because there is just many options to go from. Like there's a lot of villains in Dragon Ball, and you know all of the main ones have the powerful opponent tag, so this tag will continue and constantly get buffed as well. So I don't think this is a horrible option if you do want to decide to main. They do have limited equipment options compared to units like or tags like Sun family, hybrids, and even movies. They have all access to pure equipments, multiple pure items, and if you guys don't know anything about equipments, check out my guide, but they're very important and impactful when team synergy and building, you know, making the best team. You want these tags and the equipments to match up. LOE, because this team does not really get buffed like that. Obviously, it is also considered PO. It was good for some time, but it was also dead for a longer period of time, in my opinion. It came back to life for a couple of months. But it's just one of those tags that doesn't have too much consistency, so you don't really care about it, save your crystals. The next step that I have for saving chrono crystals is prioritizing investing and summoning on high value banners. I stress this because these type of banners just have so much more to gain from them, and you get a lot more bang from your buck, obviously. Like this superhero step up has to be the most valuable banner all year. And what really makes this relevant is obviously the main LF Beast Gohan. No need to explain him really, but it's more of the fact that he comes alongside a complete team. Piccolo and Pan, usually banners or even step-up banners, which I deem more valuable than the average banners. This one actually had 2 side 1% sparking units alongside the LF. And most come with 1%, right? Like for the Legends Festival right now, here, if we go take a look at this banner right here, unfortunately, we only have the 17, the tag 4s and the 17. I would still deem this, or like step-ups in general, to be the more valuable banners you definitely want to invest your crystals on, just for the fact that you get steps, you get free steps, you get guaranteed EX steps, and on top of that, you get these bonus coins that you are able to exchange in the shop for guaranteed Z power to add on to either your main setups. You get extra rates for characters, like the amount of units featured on these banners are just a lot more than your average banners. And then on top of that, they usually have double or triple the Z power. Last year's being triple. Unfortunately, this year's being double. It's still extra Z power, just more bang for your buck on any given occasion. If you were going to re-roll at any point in time for, you know, the game in general, this would have literally been the time, just for the fact that you could build not only the superhero movie setup with Gohan and Piccolo, there's hybrid options, there's other Sun family options, there's Cell here, just really good, still relevant LFs. Future Gohan got his platinum equip recently. It's a super viable character. Just a lot of random SPs that you can collect and obtain. You know, none of them really being that great, but comparative to anything like an All-Star banner, if we take a look as right here. So this was the All-Star I was talking about. These guys dropped, and let's say they made about smidge of impact in the meta, maybe on their release. Like, they're very good individual, but they don't compare to the recent power creep. They don't compare to a lot of the LFs, the ultras, all this stuff in the game. The overall value on this banner, you know, you could do your dailies and invest your dailies if you just want to have them for collectors purposes, or even for your main tags you main future. He's a good option for future you main LOE. These are prime options for those teams. So that's the only given way I would say even consider summoning, but at the same point you definitely want to hold off on these type of banners just because they get power crept very quickly. They get featured on a ton of banners in the future, near future here. If we take a quick look, they don't have any steps, they don't have free steps. The pool of characters are just very low, so if you're looking for any other of these characters, the drop rates are just extremely low. I would stay away from all-star banners completely. LF banners, as you can see here, this LF banner didn't even have a 1% sparking unit, so this would be a low value step up still being having guaranteed value in the exchange shops. But stuff like this, bro, it's just not valuable whatsoever. You definitely want to know what is coming out for either celebrations, anniversary, festival. Want to save up for those type of events to make use of more options, you know, more new units, either having 1 or 2 SPs alongside the main LF, right? Ultra banners, also not the best value. Obviously, to obtain an ultra unit, you're getting insane value for your team individually. So these have, like, you know, arguably some decent value. You get a free step, but these rates are just so atrociously low. You're getting double the Z power. You're getting quite decent, not really older LFs. Would not consider this a high value banner, but, you know, ultras are a gimmick in the sense to get you guys to summon for something immediately broken. Definitely worth considering summoning on, or something like this, right? We got the guaranteed LF multi-Z power banner. No one really summons on these banners for the actual pulls because their rates are even lower than low. So the odds of you pulling anything good are not really there. It doesn't matter too much because it's nothing new. Maybe for collectors purposes, you go for it. But the main reason is to obviously get the Z power from these banners. You collect these coins and you're pretty much able to stack on regular Z power and LF Z power. So for people that are looking to save your chrono crystals, right? You want to save the Z power for your main teams, your main LFs, and your main 1% sparking units. And it's guaranteed value, right? You spend about 3,000 to 5,000 on this banner, 1,000 LF Z power, 1,000 regular Z power, and you're either going to use this on some of your top tier new LFs, or you're going to save it for something that does come out. So definitely one of the better ways to save chrono crystals. The next tip is knowing what not to use your chrono crystals on. There are a variety of different currencies and resources that also allows you to use chrono crystals as a supplement in order to exchange for certain things or to advance a lot quicker in certain areas. So for instance, we do have the equipment upgrade system, and for let's say securing upgrades here for getting a higher slot, you can go to the re-upgrade, and a lot of people do actually do this. It might not be the worst investment for your crystals. However, if you do want to save and make the most of your crystals for new units, your main teams, do not do this method right here where you're able to constantly upgrade with chrono crystals, because it does have this item variant where all you need to use is souls, medals, equipment medals, and erasers, right? There's a couple of more currencies that you do need. However, they're all free to play. They're all highly accessible. I do have guides for all of them on how to obtain them, but just as a quick reference here, the main resource happens to be erasers, and we are constantly getting these raids that do offer just a ton of erasers, right? So it's like literally chrono crystals are not necessary whatsoever to upgrade equipments, anniversary, celebration raids. They do have regular raids when we're not in celebration, so it's become a very frequent thing to get this event. And they're also in a ton of different exchange shops. If you pretty much go anywhere to any of these exchange shops here, if you go anywhere, you're going to find something with erasers, right? I'm pretty sure I've cleared out most of it. Do not spend your crystals on equipment awakening. Wait for events, raids, exchange shops to have erasers, and you're able to exchange your free-to-play currencies and resources on them. The next thing to not spend your crystals on is these energy right here, because it's the same exact thing. Very easy to waste crystals here on energy to clear events. They're literally in every single exchange shop. You go to anything here and you're going to find a form of getting energy tanks literally everywhere, especially during events, celebrations, regular exchange shops. They're in anything that's not celebratory as well. If you go to any of these regular things, I'm pretty sure they have energy tanks in every exchange shop. So do not spend your energy on this. I believe skip tickets offers a means of doing so. Do not do that. The next thing is don't haste your adventures. This is another thing right here. You can click haste, and they did just add this boost thing. You basically can speed up the process of your actual adventure thing. Crystal method? I'm not entirely sure, but it used to be a crystal method for this. I'm pretty sure there still is because they obviously want you to burn your crystals on anything, but they do have this ticket booster here in the exchange shop, as you can see. If you want to exchange your Z2 medals for them, you can also haste on training. So if you want to say, let's train a quick unit here, let's train this unit. People haste, use these boosters now. Do not use your crystals. I'm pretty sure crystals are still an option for this. Do not use your crystals to haste. Last thing, you don't want to spend your crystals on bad stuff, like bad banners. So every of the banners that I did just cover previously in the last segment here, this goes for all the unnecessary free-to-play stuff, right? All Zenkais are free to play. So whenever there's a new Zenkai that comes out, LF Zenkai or a regular Zenkai, they're going to show up on a banner here. So we don't actually have any relevant Zenkais, but this is how it would look. They have the multi and they have the singles. And people like to speed up the process very early on for, like, say if they main a tag, they're like, we're going to get this done quickly. But that's just being inefficient. You're going to waste your crystals early on when you can literally take the time, complete the missions, and get yourself a free Z7 character. No Z power from that, but like I said, you don't need to even summon on the singles if you don't want to. The way to save maximum amounts is to remain completely efficient. Don't even summon on these dailies. Obviously, it's just 20 CCs, but then again, if you're saving, do not summon unnecessary things. All these dailies, I would not recommend summoning on, like the Super Master Pack, this Master Z Pack. It's just not a whole lot of value from there. Obviously, if you want to get like the main guy, there are some justifications behind it, but the majority of banners with singles like this, only ones I would recommend are LF banners and Ultra banners if they bring those back for singles. But random Master Pack, old LF unit characters. This leads us into our next topic of efficiencies. You definitely want to be efficient with everything that you're doing. If you guys don't already know, there is a CC cap of 20,000. Once you reach 20,000 chrono crystals holding up here, basically you can't collect anything from the exchange shops, any chrono crystals to be exact. So if I had over 20,000, say like this Battle Royale Legends thing, I would not be able to exchange any of these resources, and they're constantly giving crystals via this method to get us to spend and waste CCs just to collect these, right? So raids give CCs like this, the Battle Royale gives CCs like this, the PvP shop gives out chrono crystals just like this. There's so many things that they do with the exchange shop. So you guys do want to be efficient in collecting the CCs, and this is where leading into the missions. You don't want to collect anything that you don't have to collect, right? Right now, I'm holding off. There's no end date. You know, there will eventually be an end date for this, and I will have to collect this, but I'm holding this down and not collecting just in case we continue to get more chrono crystals via the exchange shops. And say if I have over 20,000 because I've collected this, and then some more crystals drop in the exchange shop, I won't be able to collect those. So a lot of these, I guess, monthly missions or Z missions specifically, you don't have to collect any of these. Every Z mission chrono crystal you can leave right here, and I believe it will stay right here. As long as it doesn't have a countdown right here, see 1 day left or 3 days left, you don't have to collect them. So primarily these Z mission ones, a lot of the celebration ones have a longer time duration for this, so just keep a lookout, be efficient with your crystals. You don't want to end up not being able to collect certain event or exchange shop crystals. Highly recommend you leave these here until you end up passing the 20k mark anyways, or until, you know, the time expires. This is like a huge tip right here because of the CC cap, which is very inconvenient. Another thing to add on to the efficiencies of saving crystals is to not miss out on any events that do offer these crystals, right? So we do get a lot of new events periodically, and with those events come missions. So like this one, for instance, is the festival missions. We're collecting festival medals, and we do have these extra CCs for the amount of medals we collect. Don't want to miss them. They're like literally right there. All you have to do is go into this tab and collect the rewards. So that's just being efficient. Doing easy modes like Tournament of Power, where you're potentially able to get over 1,000 CCs per season on this. for PvP. I know not everyone's into it, but you're getting, just don't miss out on it. Keep up with it, and you're able to, I guess, collect even more chrono crystals than you normally would if you're not checking these events. We do have the raids, we do have special events. This raid right here gave over 8,000 chrono crystals, and it's also a means of getting the medals there because that's what ties down to the missions. This shop for this event, if you go to the exchange shop, also offers chrono crystals, so being efficient is a great way to continue to save. And this is one of the exchange shops, like I was saying. If you're over the 20k cap, you're not going to be able to collect these, so make sure you don't collect your missions that don't have time on it, and be efficient in that manner, right? Make sure you don't miss these events, and you're collecting, you know, you're just keeping track of the crystals, right? A lot of these different events do offer crystals, especially the new ones and the new story modes. Don't miss out on any of the new stuff. Another efficiency tip is basically being knowledgeable about power creep. I was saying this, or I was talking about units earlier in the video, but if you're knowledgeable on power creep, and the way to do this is basically to know your mechanics and know your characters and know if a unit is going to be broken, longevity wise in that aspect. If you know this, you'll know what banners are must summon on and what banners are not must summon on. So for this banner, for instance, right, say if you main Sun Family, you know, something of the sort where you can actually use this unit, you can throw this unit on the team. However, you did go crazy on the superhero banner with LF Beast Gohan, the Pan, you have a decked out Sun Family Hybrid Saiyan setup. It is not mandatory to summon on this banner just because he's the latest Sun Family LF. They're actually, in my opinion, better on a different tag, being GT, where you can have them on Sun Family, just another good option. But just keep that in mind with power creep. This unit might actually get power crept, which is why I don't think it's mandatory to summon on this banner. He's not, or they're not, putting up the same amount of reliability as Gohan. They have a lot of instances where they have great mechanics, but very squishy. Lacking damage on the Vegeta side of the unit, and just certain things like that. Kind of know how the power creep is going. Keep track of it. For the past couple of months, periodically, we've gotten a bunch of increasing power creep characters, and we're at a given point in time where all those characters that we just got are not even being used. So just know your characters. Even if a character seems completely busted, think about the team. Think about, is this unit, can it be immediately power crept? Think about the boost system, and so on and so forth. You don't really need to summon on it, even if you have like the main tag for the character, Sun Family. This unit's actually not mandatory for Sun Family to be what it is, right? As long as you summon on the banner prior, literally the LF Beast Gohan Hybrid Saiyan team, Sun Family team is still superior to anything that you can run with the tag force, is why I'm even mentioning this. And that you can actually tell what might drop next depending on all the hints the game does give, given the new Zenkai units, the new free-to-play characters, and even equipments, right? That's kind of how we got the sense that the GT was going to be the main theme for the Legends Festival Part 1 celebration, at least just because of the amount of overwhelming buffs that we did receive kind of out of nowhere. Out of a whole year and a half, we did get this free-to-play GT Goku. We got the free-to-play Super 17. On top of that, we got a ton of Awakened equips, a ton of different Zenkais here. If I go to do the Zenkai Awakening, we did just get this full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku Zenkai. We did get this Super Baby 2 Zenkai. We got this Pan Zenkai, and I believe there's one more. I believe there's one more Zenkai here somewhere. But just the amount of buffs was kind of obvious that we were going to be headed in a direction of GT buffs. So if you did main that tag, or if you're trying to guess what to save for specifically, you can hold off and kind of save in any given moment in order to potentially summon for a certain tag, right? My final advice in saving Chrono Crystals is learning how to budget. So even if you main a certain tag and you need certain units in order to advance, right? In PvP, you want to maximize your units, you want to max out on stars, you definitely need to know when to stop summoning on a banner, because it can get addicting. It is a gacha game, so you can constantly keep pulling packs and either get really lucky or really unlucky. So make the most out of what you are putting into a banner. Also, keep track about how much Chrono Crystals you are spending in any given moment. Check out the exchange shops. You can kind of tell based off the coins. We were talking about coins earlier. You can pick up these tickets. Not really the best option in my opinion. If you want guaranteed, you want to make the most of your crystals, get the Z Power stuff. You can put it into all of your main stuff, your featured LFs. You can use There's no regular Z power in here, but you definitely want to make the most out of these guaranteed LFZ powers. If you're trying to be efficient, I wouldn't recommend going all in at once. Like I said, especially if you're not getting lucky on these banners. Take a second, go in periodically, feel out the luck. That's what I highly recommend, especially for free-to-play players. Don't just go out and spend every single crystal that you have. I think the final piece of advice also could be, how many copies should you go for said units? Think of, like, I guess the tag 4s here, for instance. If I were to summon for these units, and, the rates always being the same at 0.5%, how many copies do I really need to be satisfied enough to where I can stop and remain, not maybe having to go all in, etc. 6 stars is the juicy Z ability mark. 9 stars is the highest stat jump. So in between 6 to 9 stars, I say it's a very safe place to be, to where, depending on how much you spent, to call it quits on a banner. Say if you get really lucky, you pull copies enough to get them to at least 6, which is about 2 copies pulled. You can either decide to go test your luck a little bit more and try to shoot for that 9-star, 7 to 9-star mark, which is even better. Or if you've gone really deep at some point, you haven't hit 9, but you're around like 7 stars, even red 1 stars, you don't really need to go any further, just because, all the factors considered. You have a decent star margin, you got the Z ability, you have, the stats are there, even at 7 to red 1 are kind of pretty good, and you can Z power the rest of your way up via the exchange shops, via the guaranteed LFZ power that we're constantly getting from the raids, from the guaranteed LF banners, etc. like that. You don't need to go for the 14 stars. Highly recommend. That's like one of the biggest tips to save your crystals. Don't chase 14-star units, because it is not worth it at the end of the day. These guys not only get power crept, but there's so many ways to gain LFZ power and hook them up that way. And the same thing goes for regular Z power. This is going to be the video, you guys. If you found this video any sort of helpful, let me know in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the very next one. Stay frosty, and I'm out.